Okay, we're live. I need your help on this one. Second time lucky. Is there sound? Hopefully, we're getting sound this time. Let me know before we go any further. I need one person to confirm their sound, and I'll continue as normal. But welcome back to the Football Terrace. Here to talk Kai Havertz and his proposed move to Chelsea. It's trending. It's trending big this morning. Chelsea are very close to getting this deal done. It's a deal that we here at the Football Terrace have believed in since day one. A deal that, if I'm being honest, I didn't want to be true. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want Chelsea to be this close. But as David Ornstein has revealed this morning, Chelsea are close to paying an agreed price. That price is going to be in the region of 80 million euros plus add-ons. Add-ons are always interesting elements of transfer deals because it'll always include Chelsea winning Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, etc. But also the player, they're never as basic as that. It's also the player having a very intricate and detailed role in the club achieving these things, playing a high percentage of those games, maybe even contributing a certain amount of goals and assists. So, for instance, if add-ons, if Chelsea are getting add-ons for the Eden Hazard deal to Real Madrid, they're unlikely to get any of them this season, even though they won the Spanish league, because he's not really contributed. So you're going to pick him up. You're going to probably pick Kai Havertz up for around £70 million in total paid over the period of time. And that's what Chelsea have been trying to do. So this deal deserves absolutely nothing but complete and utter praise, because Bayer Leverkusen wanted somewhere in the region of 100 million plus English pounds for this deal. Chelsea are getting it for somewhere in the region of 30 million pounds less than that. It's wonderful, wonderful business from a commercial front. It's an amazing piece of business from a player perspective. He's one of the best attacking midfield players in the world. There is absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. Kai Havertz is serious, absolutely serious. And Chelsea are going to become this animal that everybody feared they would. The football, in terms of its style under Frank Lampard, has been excellent. They've got Werner coming, Ziyech coming, now Kai Havertz. It then means that they have an absolutely super scary bench. Super scary bench when you look at the fact that Mason Mount will be on it. We'll start some games, but Mason Mount may be there. Tammy will be there. Hudson-Odoi will be there. It makes Chelsea a very dangerous animal. There is absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. And I feel like, a lot of respect needs to be put on Frank Lampard for what he is helping the club to move forward and how he is taking them forward as a football club as well. And sometimes we don't like to do that. I think sometimes we don't like to sort of do that as a football fraternity. It's almost, we always want to play down our rivals. But listen, what Chelsea do in the market is great. Lampard is attracting top players, and it deserves nothing but absolute praise. That's all I can say about this deal. Again, it's one we backed. It's one we felt had severe credibility to it. Just as a platform, we agreed with this deal. We thought this deal was right. We thought this deal would happen as an example, and it does very much appear. It does very much appear that that's now going to be the case. I'm going to go into some of your live comments here. By the way, please hit that like button. Please hit that share button for us. Really, really important to the channel that you help us in that way. It really, really is. Sammy, one of our members here, says, feels good to be a blue. And I bet it does today. And I was thinking about that a lot this morning, because it's been an interesting past couple of weeks. There's been teams like Chelsea and Man United have had nine or so games in the past 28 days, 30 days between us, respectively. It's been a lot of football, and there's been so many up and down moments. Up and down. Does that make sense? There's been so many moments for both our clubs. Like, Chelsea fans this morning are over the moon, and rightfully so. It's only a couple of, a couple of days ago in football terms, a couple of weeks ago in real life, where you were struggling to beat teams, where you got beat by West Ham and Sheffield United, and the world looked like it was coming to an end. The same Chelsea fans today that I see singing the praises of Mason Mount were on my channel calling him a bum. I'm not talking about like David and Prime. I'm talking just like general calling guys and comments. Football's a very reactionary sport if you allow it to be. And Chelsea fans have absolutely every right to be excited. But you know what? If you go and lose the FA Cup final, if you lose against Liverpool in a couple of days' time, you're still on that trajectory moving forward. It's absolutely normal to lose a few games. It's absolutely normal for things not to go perfectly every single game. I'm not too sure where this notion has come from. There's been this element that's been created within football that unless you have pure perfection in every game, in every moment, every week, there's something wrong with your club. It's mad. It's genuinely mad. There's a comment here that says Tammy going, Hudson-Odoi will go, Loftus-Cheek will go, all the youngsters will go where they get game time, especially these ones. See, Gavin, I don't think it's not necessarily that they'll all go. You know, I look at Loftus-Cheek. If Loftus-Cheek isn't getting regular football next season, I think he'll go the year after. I think that Tammy would be more than happy to stay at Chelsea and play as part of the rotational system that will be needed. Hudson-Odoi may be a little different, maybe. But I look at it this way. If I'm a Chelsea fan right now, this is how I look at this situation. If Hudson-Odoi doesn't have the minerals to fight for his place, then he's never going to be good enough for Chelsea anyway. Now, I have that fear about Fred at Man United. I was really pleased with him this season. Showed me he could be a Man United player. Since the restart, he's not had a good moment in the game, let alone had a good performance. Maybe it's because he only plays well when he's the top dog, when there's no real competition around him. Matic was phased out. Pogba was injured. Bruno wasn't here. Now, suddenly, there's competition. He's not able to up his game. Some people clearly thrive in a competitive environment. Other people fade away. But for Chelsea to get back to the very peak of their powers, I think there needs to be a competitive element. You need a strong and deep enough squad. And if you don't have the minerals and the mental strength to do it, you shouldn't be there. Now, I'm not accusing Hudson-Odoi of that. I'm simply pointing out that's my view on that particular matter. And there's no element of these Chelsea transfers that Chelsea fans should look at as a negative. But by the way, if your academy players are good enough, they will step up to the plate and force their way into the first team regardless. A comment here from Pav says, morning, Terry. I have YouTube Premium, but I cannot download any of your videos to listen to them. Put a setting on so that they can be downloaded. I will try to work out how to do that. I have no idea. I don't think I've got any of those settings turned off, but I will find out how to do that. I don't know how to do it, but I'll find out how to get that done. We've got another super chat here. This is from Aza. This is, everyone loses games. If you win and play bad, it puts a statement on it. Liverpool haven't played as good as the 2017-18 season, but have won trophies. Look, I know you're kind of referring, it's one of those things. Like, I know you're referring to Man United losing yesterday. Just looking, I agree with your comments there as well, bro. I think that English players get a rough ride when they have bad games at the moment from particular fans. But listen, I've seen a lot of Man United fans in the past 12 hours or so really try to undermine this run that we were on. Unbeaten runs mean nothing. Why do they mean that? It's like we haven't achieved anything in that time. We've clawed back a 14-point deficit between us and the team that were in third place. We are days away. I think we'll beat West Ham. We're going to go into the top four. If we draw with West Ham, we go into the top four. God damn it. All right? We've clawed back a 14-point deficit in that time. Another myth by the fake Man United fans. We haven't beaten anybody. They're conveniently not including the 2 City victories and the Chelsea victory as an example. Oh, we only beat one good team, and that was Sheffield United. But they're ignoring the other good teams we've beaten. They then ignore this season that we've beaten City 3 times, Chelsea 3 times. We've beaten Wolves, beaten Tottenham, beaten Leicester when Leicester were really good this year. Our biggest issue for the majority of this season was not beating the smaller teams. We're now beating the smaller teams, but that isn't a sign that we've improved. And that's because these people are fake Man United fans and they have an agenda, and that is to always be negative about the club. And I'm saying this now, Chelsea fans have got a percentage of supporters that are like that as well, where they want to just, where if you lose to Liverpool, there'll be outrage at some of these players. Although today there's a feel-good factor. There is a balance to this. And Chelsea and Man United are on their way. Like I've said, oh, we're back. And look, I'm just gassed. I'm happy my team's winning. I still know we're a work in progress and there are still things that we as a football club need to improve on. There's no doubt about that. But we're playing better football. Chelsea have moved forward massively this year in terms of the way they play football. Still conceded far too many goals. Still, yesterday they had a barnstorming game. Don't be surprised if in the last 3 games of this season, Chelsea have another wobble at the back. It just went perfect for Chelsea yesterday and completely wrong for Man United. You credit Lampard, you criticize your team, but you move on. To try and undo everything that's been achieved by Chelsea or by Man United by a bad result and a bad performance is utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense. And just addressing United fans tuning in, we already know that all these people hate Maguire, but they're now going for AWB as well. Why? AWB can't dribble well. AWB can't cross like Trent, can't do what Reece James does. He's trash. Ignore these people. They were the same people at the beginning of this season that told you that Rashford would never score this amount of goals. Rashford was a championship player. It's mad. And by the way, I have criticized Tammy and I have criticized Mason Mount, and I have called Mason Mount a fraud before. And I don't know if I've formally done it, but I apologize for that. And not because he scored yesterday, but actually, Mason Mount is no championship player. Mason Mount and Tammy are no championship player. They're no cannon fodder. Are they good enough to be the leading men at a Chelsea football team in their respective roles to make you Premier League champions? Not in my opinion. Are they good enough to be part of your squad? Absolutely. And I think that's what I want to be very careful of on this channel. And I know I've made mistakes in the past, and I know that I've been someone that's, he's a fraud or he's this, he's that. Actually, no. Mason Mount isn't a fraud. He simply isn't as good as Kai Havertz. He simply isn't as good as Chelsea fans made out that. And I took my frustration out on the player as opposed to addressing it. And I was wrong for doing that. And I want to make this channel is a place where we can criticize. But let's hold back on the ridiculousness here. Let's hold back on the ridiculousness here. The jealousy more than anything. That's what it comes down to. You see a rival club of a player that you would like. He has a particular attribute that's better than your guy. And what do? You start it's okay to say Kevin De Bruyne is better than Mason Mount. It's okay to say Greenwood is better than Martinelli. Doesn't mean you should attack that guy at your club because he isn't as good. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. It does to me. I'm just seeing more of this now. Tom here says, statement, not playing Kepa, interesting for me. Maybe, but doesn't Willie play all of your games anyway? If Willie plays all of your games in the Cup anyway, I don't know if it's a statement or not. Sammy here, one of my members, said, this is why we love this game. You just never know what's going to happen. Arsenal are going to be difficult in the final for sure. Yeah, and do you know what's amazing about the FA Cup final? A brand new manager in their first season in the Premier League is going to win an FA Cup. That's pretty damn good. No matter who you support, that's pretty good. I'm going to throw that out there, and it deserves respect. Chelsea fan here, Chelsea SW6 says this system really works for us. Yeah, I think Chelsea look very solid. And it's a bit like Arsenal changing their system to the 3-4-3 as well. It bolstered the midfield for Arsenal, did the same for Chelsea yesterday. But the 3 centre-backs playing together, I think you got... Look, Man United looked stronger with 3 at the back yesterday. When we changed it, we struggled to cope. It's funny how, we blamed Maguire, really, when it was Lindelof. But Maguire is the scapegoat. Maguire is the scapegoat for whatever reason. I actually saw someone getting angry yesterday because they even had a go at... because David De Gea was getting the majority of the abuse. And they were like, that should be Maguire. Yeah, of course it should have been. Of course it should have been Maguire. He did score an own goal. But aside from that, and he played a really bad pass into the middle in the 88th minute when we were already 3-0 down. But yeah, let's play Maguire. Let's play Maguire because it's very easy to do that. I looked at a tweet this morning from one of these big Man United accounts who's a fake Man United fan doing it for traction. Every tweet slagging the club off and literally like, oh, we haven't had this unbeaten runs and myth. We haven't beaten anyone good. All this sort of nonsense. Every tweet he's put out has had 2,000 to 3,000 retweets. I went through one of the retweets. I counted the first 200 people to like it. Less than 8% were Man United fans. The vast majority were Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. These, like I said yesterday, these people tweet things, and I'm going to do a little experiment and then prove it all to you all, just to prove it. But these people know that if I tweet negatively about United, but do it as a Man United fan, it gains traction. And that's all they care about, man. And listen, that's why I'm talking to Chelsea fans directly here. If you sign Kai Havertz and he has a bad opening 3 months, don't switch on the guy. Back your man, back your club, back your manager. It's so important to do that in the modern day game. It really is. Comment here from Everyday Same. He says, we were always going to lose, so it may as well have been in the Who Gives an F Cup. Adversity is good, my friend. Do you know what, mate? This I agree with you there, Everyday Same. In not the FA Cup bit, the adversity element. I was gutted to lose yesterday. But yes, we were always going to lose at some point. There was always going to come a day where this run would end. There was always going to come a day where we were going to drop a bad performance. And people say, oh, we weren't good against Palace, though. We weren't good, weren't good against Southampton. We weren't good against Villa. To what standard? Yeah, we didn't batter them 3 or 4-0 and absolutely wipe the floor with them. But how often does that actually happen? I've seen this this team scrape past numerous teams this season. Everyone said that was a sign of a good team. Man United scraped past teams. We're playing badly. Oh, no. See, there's hypocrisy in it because these people know what they're saying is nonsense. They're trying to trigger Man United fans and they're trying to gain traction with rivals. Now, that's their right to do it. I was chatting to Lee Gunner last night, and Lee Gunner says he is literally trying to attract non-Arsenal fans to his platform. Doesn't mean he doesn't believe in what he's saying. I'm not saying he's being a charlatan, but he's trying to do that. And he knows by being outspoken about things he truly feels about his club will attract non-rival fans. Now, some people, they do it in a different way. They don't really mean these things, or maybe they mean them slightly, but they exaggerate them. They make them much bigger than they really are because they know it's going to attract rival fans. It's a method. So don't be drawn into it and don't be suckered in by it because it isn't really real. And I'm not talking about Lee Gunner. I'm talking about people that come out with nonsense about this run meaning nothing. It's mad because when you speak to rival fans off air, they're like, bro, your run was great, And a run doesn't end like this. Run isn't just suddenly this isn't the end of The Sopranos here. This run isn't just over because we lost one game. We win our next 2 league games. We're still on the run. We're still on a run. We've got a run that by the end of the Europa League campaign, it could be a run of like 26, 27 games where we lost one, won 20 of them, scored this amount of goals. This run doesn't end because you lose one game. It's a weird mental notion that's being pushed into people's minds about this. It really, really is. But listen, Chelsea, appreciate you fans tuning in. Massive news around Kai Havertz. We'll have more to follow on this later. But take care of yourselves, everyone. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you retweet. And take care.